Look at all these rumors of the PS5 Pro. However, even you as a PlayStation fan, whether you be hardcore or maybe just casual, you're still skeptic about whether or not you should buy one. Not because of affordability. In most cases, console players can make it work. PC players can make it work when they're trying to upgrade their hardware. They could use trade-in. They already have foreknowledge that the possibility of a new device is coming. So most of them are thrifty and would have saved up enough money to be able to do it. It's not the money. What the big question is now the performance to the cost ratio. These new consoles have made console players start to think like PC players, but they just didn't realize it initially. Now that the generation has gone in, that we've started seeing those challenges made, challenges like, I bet you this console can do much more than so-and-so PC. That ended the whole conversation of looking at a console anymore as you would normally have looked at it in the past. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's talk. When I moved back to PC from PlayStation 4, there was never a time where I even bothered to look at what the components of the PlayStation 4 had compared to the PC that I built. I never thought about it that way because I always felt the console was a whole different machine and the PC was a whole different machine. However, this new generation, it was befitting, in a sense, for PlayStation and Xbox to try to come and market their consoles as having the power to be able to achieve things that was, for the most part, known to be only achievable by PCs. And for the most part, yes, that was the case. But behind all of those claims was the company that was manufacturing a lot of the components, AMD. Now, AMD had manufactured also for, PlayStation 4 as well as some of the different, devices that you saw out there. But AMD was coming with a huge, library of tools that they could basically provide to the market. But one thing that a lot of console players basically fell into the trap of was to start bucking up against PCs, saying, oh, your PlayStation 5 versus your PC could achieve this. You can do it for $500 on a PS5, but you need about $1,000 on PC to do that. Not knowing that in the PC market, time is all you need for that claim to look very stupid. Now, over time, what has happened is a lot of those components that were probably expensive or would have been expensive at the time the PS5 came out have basically become discount bottom dollar in terms of their price to performance, meaning sitting on these shelves all over the world in PC manufacturers and PC retailers are lethal hardware pieces for very little amounts of money. And to that, you have a console that basically stays in the exact same way it's been built. Regardless of whatever you try to do, the most you can do is probably add storage, but will only be able to perform as good as the manufacturer made it to be. While on AMD, who made the console, who has basically come to, in a sense, cannibalize themselves and provide some insane value, you can pretty much do some crazy stuff. Let me show you this particular CPU. This CPU is a Ryzen 9 5900X, 12 cores, 24 threads. It will eat a good amount of PlayStation 5s in terms of processing. They always throw teraflops all over the place with these consoles. Just stick an expo marker and just, cancel that stuff. Let's talk hardware. Okay, let's talk some hardware. The base clock is 3.7 gigahertz. This CPU at one time was $500+. My wallet knows I bought two. I built two devices with it at the time. Now, this same device that can basically build a whole video game, by the way, can compile a whole game with ease. This CPU, you could use it to just download a whole game project from Unreal and just hit compile, walk away, come back, you have game. This is not like it can play a game. It could just literally cook up a game. It's now $279. The big bro of this CPU, the 5950, used to be almost $800. I remember it went on sale years ago to $500. Boy, I traded in one of my 3900. Sorry, I said 5900. Sorry, it was 3900 I had. I didn't even have the 5900. I take that back. It was a 3900, guys. I'm sorry. Scratch that. Change this 5 to 3, which is a little bit less cookie than the 5900. I never even bought the 5900. I was aiming for it, but this guy went on sale. So I copped one of these after trading those ones out. And this 5950 is a monster. 16 cores, 32 thread, but it's now come within range of a $1,000 PC build for somebody who is really savvy. So those people who are saying that this thing is going to need a $1,000 PC, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're just spouting Twitter nonsense. When you speak to people who actually do a deal with hardware, they'll say, no, that's nonsense. Because that CPU is just a monster. And this is just the CPU. So already this CPU eats the PS5 and Pro and whatever they're going to bring to you to the next generation. They're not going to give you 16 cores on a console. You won't be able to, justify paying for it. So now the console gamer is now thinking like a PC gamer. What am I paying for compared to what I can get out of the performance? Because y'all are telling me 35 teraflops, RDNA 4, AI upscaling, yada yada. What am I going to be? What does that mean with the rumored price point of $700 when I can just come here and go to AM4 and buy a supercomputer chip for less and build a device that I can just literally upgrade a GPU later down the road when you decide to bring out your PS6? And so in seeing that paradigm, I started laughing as console gamers were challenging PC builds and talking about performance. You know what was even worse, ladies and gentlemen? The Series S. Console players really did dial into this thing. And I was just, in a sense, I was just looking, going, really? A lot of console players were making fun of the Series S. Some were frustrated with the Series S, talking about how it doesn't really do this, how it doesn't perform well. These same frustrations are not isolated to just the console. On the PC side, there are frustrations as well for underpowered hardware. Some GPUs are just not worth their price to performance. And guess what? As human beings, we complain about them too. So your complaints did not fall on deaf ears, or your complaints were not unique to you, but we also saw the elitism too that can arise from from human beings. Someone has something better than somebody else. They try to rub it in. They try to, kick the other person down. They want to kick the small guy down. This is why I started saying, man, come on, man. Why is everybody kicking the Series S down? It's just a lower grade hardware spec within a generation, which is normal. Every generation will have its lower spec hardware. That always happens. There's always one guy that's below the other guy. And AMD are the kings of doing that kind of, step by step specs. They're better at it. Their AM4 was absolutely phenomenal over Intel. I forgot Intel existed. When Ryzen came out, I didn't remember Intel. I don't even know if Intel exists anymore. You'll find one Intel chip in my house and then, the laptops. But other than that, I don't think they exist anymore. Even though people are saying AMD right now sucks, still, on their bad day, they're still kicking Intel's butt. And I remember Intel was actually at that point where they were kicking AMD's butt on their bad day. But the fear now is that AMD does not, basically try to make do with the opportunity that they have. So this is exactly why I think a lot of people are skeptic about the PlayStation 5 Pro. They've now started thinking price to performance. They're no longer going to just go with the modular design and the little, all of the shiny that's going on. No, people want to play games and they want their games to perform. And they're wondering, in this box that you're selling me, what's inside of it? Now, some people are going to buy the PS5 Pro regardless. They don't care about PC. But some have taken a different route. In their conversations and looking at things and trying to discover what's going on, many of them are looking like, what? Me pay $700 for a PS5 Pro? Guys, this is the highest end stuff I'm showing you, by the way. I haven't even come to the, what we call mid-range. Just because we call it mid-range, though, It's giving people the wrong notion and the wrong ideas too on console. What's a mid-range PC? Yo, a mid-range PC will still fry these consoles, two of them put together. Actually, in some cases, two and a half of them. If the person who's building knows what they're doing and knows what to do. So this skepticism was born out of the manufacturers themselves, basically, bucking up to, well, not the manufacturers, the brand namers, because as PlayStation and, Xbox, AMD would not bother doing anything like that. But they went ahead and were just advertising this stuff and letting everybody think, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. When in reality, the real deal was always just sitting there and was always going to basically change in price and change in market conditions and such, thereby allowing for the console or making the console obsolete from a hardware perspective. I thought I'd make this, slight technical discussion in terms of what I've observed. And I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. It's interesting, in it, that this console is about to show up and it's already outdated hardware. In a sense, because of how locked it's going to be. Yet the PC being modular has no such limitations. Simply because you can decide tomorrow that you want to take apart your, highly performant Lego build, because I consider them Lego pieces, everything to build a PC, and then make it just more relevant to the technology of the day. This is why I think a lot of people are going to shift to PC in this PS5 Pro generation. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Peace out.